How you doing? This is Paul with Logix Magazine. You want to be a PLC programmer, but you have no previous experience? Well, we're going to walk you through a process that could literally could guarantee you getting your very first job if you follow the process, right? Now, if you have the skills to get the job, to do the job, right? If you got the skills, if you had the job and you could do the job, I can almost guarantee you can get this job. Now, there's a process to this. There's specific steps that are prescribed in a particular sequence in this process that's very important. And I want to share that with you today. Now, this is stuff that you're just not going to hear anywhere else, all right? But it's important that you know this. And what's even most important is that before you ever even start to apply for a PLC programmer's job, you've got to get your head wrapped around. You got to get your mind in the right mindset that it's even possible, because a lot of you guys have no idea how you're going to get that first job. None. You don't even really know that it's possible. When you go online and you look at a job ads, and maybe you've done that, but if you do it, you're not going to see any of those job ads that say, wanted a person with no PLC programming experience. They all want some sort of experience. They all want, the most that they can get out of a person. But don't lose heart, my friends. Hang in there. I'm going to walk you through a very specific process. And if you follow this process, I can virtually guarantee you that you'll get a job. All right. Now, we're going to do a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about 6 different things today. And it's going to kind of walk you through a process, again, to get your mind wrapped around the possibility that you could even get that first job with no previous experience at all. Today, you may be stacking boxes at the end of a production line and going home and practicing your programming. And tomorrow, you could get that nice high five figure job offer, that letter that says PLC Programmer, Automation Engineer, Controls Technician. That is the admittance to a great new career. All right, we're going to talk about that today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. First thing you've got to do, and I will always bring this up, I brought it up in the last video, I'm going to continually bring it up, is you got to be open and honest about your skills. You got to know what you know and know what you don't know. And you have to know it really well. I would say it's as important as knowing how to do the job as knowing what you know and what you don't know. It's very important. All right. And you got to be open and honest with yourself about this. All right. And the reason I bring this up is we're going to actually look at job ads today. I'm going to walk you through and help you interpret how to read job ads, especially being new with no previous experience. We're going to look at those and we're going to dig deep into them, all right? But it all starts with being honest with yourself. And the reason you would be honest with yourself is because it's important that you're honest with an employer when you're applying for an opportunity. Because I will guarantee you that if you do not start out with being open and honest, you're going to hang yourself, all right? Let me get a sip of tea here. I wanted that phrase to linger. You are going to hurt yourself and you're going to hurt your career. All right. Companies do talk to each other. They go to some of the same conventions, events. HR managers go to events, and you don't want to do anything that's going to hurt you and your reputation. So it's better to just be open and honest about what you know and what you don't know. Now, obviously, you're not going to sell what you don't know. You're going to sell what you know. And you need to know it well. That way, the selling becomes easy. Because really, if I know something, I'm just going to describe it to you and talk to you about it because I know it. I know it well. Right? It doesn't become a sales job. It becomes a moment for me to share with you what I've done. So, how do you find out what you don't know? Second point I want to make. You've got to get a mentor. You got to find somebody out there, take a class and create a really good working and trusting relationship. I really recommend some high-level private training with a instructor. Now, my last video, we talked about Stephen Gates over at myplctraining.com. You also got Phil Buchanan. He does a live seminars, and he's another great resource, right? And you got online PLC support, PLC professor. You guys, you know them. You go to all their websites, you buy the books, and take the video courses. Connect with them and talk to them about accepting you as a private student, and spend a little bit of time. Even if all you want to say is, hey, I want 4 or 5 hours of your time so we can talk about a skills assessment. If you just did that, it would be so valuable for you, right? And then you'll have that answered. And then you'll be able to discover what you don't know and what you need to learn. And you'll get so much valuable information from these mentors. And these guys these guys know their job. They're experts at this industry, and they can help you very, very quickly determine where your skill set's at. All you got to do is connect with them, ask them if they would help you do a skills assessment. All right. Okay. So that's the second real important part. Now we're going to step into a few things that you may not have heard before. I think it's very, very important that you look into an industry, right? If you're stacking boxes end of a line at a corrugating company, a company that makes boxes, and you think you might like to learn more about how the machines are controlled, by all means, you already know a lot about that. The industry, the boxes, the machines, the culture of that type of company. Learning more about the machinery and the controls just seems like a natural evolution into your career. And you don't have to change the industry. You're just leveling into another position. So I think it's real important to understand and know an industry. Kind of pick one if you can, based on what in some job you've had in the past, all right? Or an industry in which you think you would like to know. I think it's really important. Get to know the top machine manufacturers, okay? Do some research. Do as much deep research as you can to know what control systems they use in the top 5 companies who build these machines. What are the control systems? How old are the typical machines? Are they putting out new versions of machines? There's just a lot to know about the industry that's going to significantly help you when sitting down and interviewing with an engineering manager or an HR manager, that you intimately know the industry. Once these conventions and conferences start back up, it's in your best interest to go to them, learn about an industry. I think that's very important. Now, I say start with that right away. Look, we all go on the internet. We spend a lot of time perusing and checking out funny cat videos. Look, stop doing that crap and go online and just peruse an industry. The magazines, the trade magazines, the top manufacturers' websites, look at their new equipment, get to know an industry. Very important. Now, once you got the industry, look at some of the top and some of the best companies in that industry. And I think it's really valuable when I work with people to get a job. I encourage them to kind of target an employer. Okay, get a broad list of employers and start studying these employers, top good employers. Right now, let's assume that maybe, let's back up. Look at these employers and look at the job openings that they have open. All right, when you see a job opening description for a PLC programmer, automation technician, engineer, any of those, then you're going to start studying those ads. What are they looking for? What do they need? Maybe pay that they are offering. Is there travel, not travel? Where is the company located? Is the headquarters located in one place and the manufacturing facility in another? Lots of stuff you can gather. just by a little bit of research. When you start targeting specific employers, you can learn a lot of information just by doing that. I'll do a whole video, probably a whole series of videos on doing nothing but targeting employers. It's that important. I'll do videos on targeting industries. Lots of really cool stuff to learn, all right? So, again, let's before we go too deep, let's talk about this. You got to know your skills. Get a mentor, okay? You're going to want to, one of the other things, kind of skipped over this, but you got to build a portfolio. And ask your mentor what type of portfolio would they suggest. What are some of the top programs or projects that you'd be able to do that they would recommend to you that really would demonstrate strong automation skill set to a prospective employer. I'm telling you, man, it's really important that you get a hold of these guys and spend some time with them. Yes, it's going to cost a few bucks, but man, they're going to level you up. You're going to fast track to the top of the line for any other entry level candidate because you spent quality time. You did what nobody else is doing. Okay, they're spending $10, $30, and these guys have those courses. They teach it. It's an introductory, but you want to level up. The people, my audience here, you are going to separate yourself from everyone else because you know that you want to level up. You're going to fast track yourself, right? You're going to listen to these mentors, and you're going to pay attention to what they tell you, and you're going to build a really rock solid portfolio that demonstrates your skills. But before you get too excited, that's really valuable. But I encourage you to research an industry. Very important. Get to know an industry. Target that industry, right? Research and target a company. Okay, several companies. I say you need to target 10 companies. In depth, deep stuff. Right? Look at the ads, look at the locations, look at the news releases, the press releases of the company, or their movement and motion in the industry or in that company. Lots of good stuff. Look, you don't have to go nuts so crazy about it, but it really is valuable to understand and learn about the industry and companies specifically. Companies you would like to work for. Simple. And you may find out there's some stuff going on and wouldn't be a good fit. All right. Maybe the locations, they just don't have a location area that you and your family would be comfortable moving to. And that's all right, but you won't know if you don't look into it. All right. And there's a lot to be gained from that kind of research. Okay. So know your skills, get a mentor, build a portfolio, know an industry. Okay. Target that. Target an employer, very important. And one of the next most important things that really cement this, so you got to learn how to interpret ads. Now, ads are one of only the smallest, least favorite of mine for obtaining a job, okay, an opportunity, and even your first job. But it is important for you to do some research by studying ads online. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the computer. We're going to study Indeed.com ads for PLC programmers. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, so what I did is you see here, it says PLC programmers, right? And I didn't put in any location anywhere. All right, so here we got one, Gainesville, Florida. Nice area, by the way. So let's go ahead and look at that. I'm going to pop up a few of them here. Now look at here, $75,000 to $105,000. Dakota Dunes, South Dakota. I'm telling you, I think that's the oil industry. Okay, senior controls. We're not even going to look into that, Well, you know what? Let's open it up. Let's take a look at it. Senior controls, they're looking for somebody maybe 10 years experience. All right, so I'm going to open up a few of these here. Automation technician, PLC programmer. Okay, so we've got, a few of these open. So let's take a look at this. What do we got? PLC and touchscreen programming, 7 years required. Siemens S300 or S1200 programming, 5 years. Associates and education, 25% travel. Okay. So what I like to do is I come down here, is I want to find out, is there any flexibility on anything that's up here? So they prefer an associate in education, but it's not required. But 7 years experience is required. Okay, PLC and touchscreen programming. So, okay, must be able to write PLC touchscreen programs from scratch, must have experience integrating SCADA system and existing PLCs, must have experience with SCADA, working with electrical powers 480, diagnose and making changes, must be able to read and interpret NEC and FPA rules and regulation, ignition, Alan Bradley, Python scripting experience. Okay, so these guys are really serious about HMI design. Now, that's not to say, truthfully, in my opinion, if you put in the right time, it says 7 years experience, but I could almost guarantee you that if you put together a really strong HMI portfolio, you would, I mean, really strong, you would get a phone call, if not an in-person interview with this company. I could almost guarantee you, especially if you can do the Python scripting, you have experience and can demonstrate that experience through projects in Ignition and Alan Bradley, you're going to draw their attention. If you got a strong electrical maintenance background, so you can do troubleshooting, you're very strong in wiring 480 and 120 down to 24 volts, this can be done. I'm very confident that with the right person with the right confidence and a really solid HMI portfolio, you can get an opportunity with this company. Now that's a kind of bold, but it can be done. And the key here is this: every ad is just asking for the best. This is their dream list. They would love to have somebody who can do all this stuff, and that's not a lot, but they want somebody who can do all this stuff. If you can do a lot of this stuff and you can demonstrate a solid understanding and skill set with a really good portfolio, you can grab this company's attention. Maybe not for this specific job, but a job very similar to this, maybe an assistant or something of that nature. You could definitely get an opportunity with a company like this. That's my belief. Okay, PLC Programmer Dakota Dunes. This is what I was thinking was in the oil industry. Okay, 1 to 2 year technical degree preferred in related areas such as SCADA or electrical mechanical program preferred. So they're looking for somebody with a little bit of experience. Okay, 3 years experience in PLC. Other experience includes EcoStruxure, control expert, converting Modicon Quantum I/O platform to Modicon 580, and creating PLC programs and SCADA and SQL systems integrate with. Okay, so they are looking for some specific hardware experience. But here's the interesting point, in my opinion. It's a lot that I could dig into. And I'll do another video about this, but there's a lot I can dig into this. But they're looking for somebody with 1 to 3 years of experience working with essentially SCADA, and somebody who can specifically, other experience includes EcoStruxure and EcoStruxure control expert, converting Modicon Quantum I/O platform to Modicon 580 platform. Okay, so essentially, if you have the EcoStruxure or the converting Modicon Quantum I/O, and you put together a solid PLC portfolio that demonstrates that with that info right there, you don't necessarily have to even have had any experience whatsoever. It's about this piece of information that's important. Now, they have some other stuff, proficient IEC programming standards, ladder logic, function block diagram, structured text. So you want to have some of that there and demonstrate that in some really good projects. And iFix experience a plus. iFix is important. Understanding motor starts, tuning closed loop controllers, auto, manual, soft start. So got to be able to understand PIDs, PIDE, PID loops, and being able to adjust and tune that. And you know who's got good programs for that is onlineplcsupport.com. He is the man. Shane is the man when it comes to PID loops online right now. You can work with him on some of that. In my opinion, he's got some great training over there for that. So I think this one is really very pointed. If you don't have any previous experience with this one would be kind of difficult because they're looking for very specific information. Being new and having no experience whatsoever, this one wouldn't be a good fit. It's just too specific. Now the great thing is they don't want a heck of a lot of experience, but it's very specific experience. So that one I would pass. Being new, it just doesn't. It's not like the last one, which is saying, hey, demonstrate to us that you got a strong HMI background and you can put together some great programs, and then you got a real good chance of drawing their attention. Okay, this one, senior controls programmers. Now, I wanted to look at this as a contrast from the other ones. Okay, so here, minimum 3 years actively working in industrial controls, an engineering degree or equivalent experience. Okay, not a lot there. Normally, there's a mandatory. There's 5 to 10 years of experience for a senior engineer. It's usually 7 to 10 even of real full-time controls experience. But this one's not really high. 3 years. That's not a lot. That's not a lot at all. So what's the sticking point here, if any? So HMI, PLC logic, perform pre-approval checks, perform checks, debugs. If you're good at let's see, hardware design engineers, power distribution, magnetics, I/O, require field wiring. So if you have a strong electrical maintenance background, have installed machinery in that, so that you have that hands-on, experience, and you put together a really strong portfolio. This one, this one's not bad. This one's not bad, and they're saying it's a senior PLC controls programmers and hardware design. So you got to be able to look at a machine, almost virtually any machine, and be able to write a program from scratch. And we've talked about that in a couple of my videos, how to start to do that. At least 70% of it almost off the top of your head. So if you look back on those videos, you're going to understand it a little bit. So this one's not bad. I would think this one could be done with the right person. You have a very strong portfolio. Let's say you put together a really strong servo motors program or strong HMI program. You have good hands-on integration skill set, having assembled some machines from scratch, and you're really, really solid on field wiring. You've got hydraulic, pneumatic background strong, and I would say even a couple of projects that demonstrate that knowledge set. I'd say you would be you could put yourself out there for here. Now, are you going to get it? I wouldn't know exactly. I'd say they would probably want to meet with you. They'd want to talk with you. It has a lot to do with how strong the candidates are that you're competing against. But for a your first job opportunity, I'd say if you put together a really strong portfolio, I'd present it. I most certainly would on this one. All right? Because they're not asking for a lot of experience. They're saying, well, 3 years required. But if you think about it, if you can take your maintenance background, really strong portfolio, really strong, they would probably be interested in talking with you, depending on the competition, of course. So, but here's the thing. This is senior. I don't expect you to land your first job being a senior PLC programmer. So I would submit it and steer them towards looking at your portfolio. And for no other purpose than maybe you get a phone call for another opportunity that's not advertised, right? Maybe not a senior, but a junior PLC programmer. So I would definitely submit it for this. And I'd say that because for a senior engineer, and they're only looking for 3 years experience, I'd say there's some opportunity there. All right, so field service engineer, 60 to 90. Okay, 75%. You're going to be a road warrior here, my friends. 75% industrial equipment, 2 years. Allen Bradley, 3 years experience. Industrial machine, another one. This is field service. So this is one of the great jobs you'd be able to get right out the gate. You put together a really strong portfolio. You work with your mentor, and you put together something strong. I will say that you should be able in your very first job land this job. This is between $65,000 and $95,000 per year. This is a great opportunity. Okay, if you have some of this industrial equipment background and you put together a really solid Allen Bradley platform, HMI, tracking, sorting, maybe some servo, HMI. I mean, you put together some strong stuff here. I think you're gonna do well. I would present it. It says that it was. So here's the kicker. It says industrial machine repair maintenance 3 years required. All right, PLC programming Allen Bradley preferred. 3 years required. So basically, if you've done any kind of work in the industrial machine level, and you have a really strong platform, you can get this job. Okay, no doubt in my mind. I would apply for it. That's what I'm telling you. Okay, SCADA. We'll do a couple more. SCADA, PLC. We're getting a little long, but this is good stuff. This is meaty, good stuff here, in my opinion. SCADA, PLC programmer, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Come on. Fort Lauderdale, what a great place. Okay, BS in engineering, computer science or equivalent, experience. Didn't say required, said experience. Minimum 5 years of experience. Now they're leveling up a little bit, their expectation. Experience of water, wastewater application, movable bridge automation. So, experience factory talk. It looks like, okay, so if you've worked in a wastewater treatment facility in the maintenance department and you put together a really strong portfolio, I think you could, let's assume you have 5 years, 3 years even, of wastewater experience in the maintenance field, and you put together a really strong portfolio. I think even without the BS in engineering, I think I would present it to this company. I would present my portfolio to this company, because even if you didn't get this one, they may have a junior position that they would consider you for. And if you could present yourself with strong confidence, a strong portfolio, and some wastewater experience, I think you'd be a real contender for that. Look at this. This is $80,000 to $90,000 per year. This is a great opportunity, in my opinion. I think it would be worth flying down there and having a chat. That's what I think. Okay, automation technician. We'll make this our last one, as we're going on 30 minutes here. So, all right. So here. Oh, okay. All right. Automation technician, $30, $50 an hour. Very nice income. So provide automation and programming experience for oil and gas industry. So looking for Allen Bradley, SCADA Pack, ABB, Total Flow, Schneider, PLC, Rock, Kimray, etc. Signal Rep, okay. Micro hard seller, modems, networking projects, Neuraltos, Enteris, boom. Okay, so this one here is very specific. There's some information, there's some stuff here that's very specific. As an automation technician is a little deceiving. I thought initially it would just be like an entry position, but they're looking for some very specific information here that would be kind of hard for a new guy to wrap himself around without those experience. So this one I would probably bypass. It's just very, very deep and difficult because it's so specific. Well, anyhow, these are just a couple I wanted to share with you. I know it's Friday. It's time to get out and enjoy. I've got a party to go to. I had the birth of a grandson yesterday. I'm excited about that. And, hey, if what you're learning here, what you're hearing here from these videos is of any kind of help for you, subscribe. I got lots more good stuff to come your way to talk about. Great resources, things we're going to look at. I've really got some exciting stuff coming your way. Anyhow, subscribe, and if you're interested in keeping in touch, hit that bell so you're notified every single time we produce a video. Now, only about half of you guys out there are doing that. I really encourage you subscribe, all right, and hit that bell. And if you have any questions, put it down below. I'd love to answer them, love to help you out. I'll be looking at any of your questions over the weekend, and love to help you in any way that I can. So this is Paul with Logix Magazine, and do this type of research yourself. Look into these job ads on Indeed and Monster, and study them, and take what I said and look at it and see if that makes sense to you. All right. So until next time, this is Paul with Logix Magazine. You guys have a really great weekend. I'll catch you guys later.